If you are out there and you're trying to do something, you're trying to achieve something, you're trying to go somewhere, there is nowhere you're going to go to that somebody has not gone there and gotten to the peak.
Yeah.
Find a way to identify those people and get to be mentees of them.
Yeah.
You see, one of the challenges people face is that people have what they call ego. Nobody is ever young to be a mentor, and nobody is ever too old to be a mentor. Everyone can be a mentee, and everyone at every point in time will be a mentee and a mentor. You mentor down to people who are still growing to be where you are, right? And you mentee up while you are going to be where your mentor is. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I wanted to say something. I want to say something about the ability to understand that nobody has monopoly to wisdom.
Yeah.
Nobody has monopoly to knowledge.
Yeah.
I might sit here and I express myself and it makes sense to a lot of people. I don't know it all.
Yep.
I also have had mentors in my life. I have mentors in my life and I'll continue to do, right? The very important thing is that every person needs a mentor. That's a question I asked somebody I met. Very successful person, multi-millionaire, family man, great Christian, community activist, donates to charity, does everything right. And I asked him, knowing what you know now at 67 years old, worth over $60 million, what will you tell a young man or a young lady?
Yeah.
Mostly a young man, because you've been a young man, so you know how it is.
Yeah.
What will you tell a young man to do when they begin on their journey to achieve anything in life? He said, other than fear, love, and respect for God, and then he paused for about a minute, and he said, the next most important thing, get a mentor. And I want to say it today again. If you are out there and you're trying to do something, you're trying to achieve something, you're trying to go somewhere, there is nowhere you're going to go to that somebody has not gone there and gotten to the peak.
Yeah.
Find a way to identify those people and get to be mentees of them. Yeah. You see, one of the challenges people face is that people have what they call ego. Les Brown describes ego as edging God out. Ego is that thing to say, hey, you know what? Toridey can't teach me nothing. Do you know how much I've learned from you just coming on your platform watching you? Wow. How many times do I call you to ask you, Toridey, where do you place a camera? Toridey, what camera are you using? There's a young man out here in Dallas, GFL, Gilbert Gia, you know him?
Yeah.
He takes his time, he calls me, he gives me feedback. He said, Ganfre, you do it like this. The last video you put, I didn't like it, right? Your lips were dry, you didn't look the part. I didn't like it. Listen, listen, but listen, Toridey, listen. If somebody doesn't care about you, they won't tell you those things,
Very
right?
True. Very true.
Now, what I'm saying is that it might not sound like that, right? But he is actually mentoring me, even though he's a younger brother to a younger brother of mine, Elvis, who I grew up with, and is my small in CPC Bali, right? But he's mentoring me in aspects that I need help to understand.
Very true.
I have a gift in speaking. I have a gift in inspiration. I have a gift in motivation. I don't have a gift in setting up a camera to record people right. I don't have a gift in passion, in packaging, like Gilbert of GFL has. I don't have a gift in marketing like he does, right? Now it's easy for me to sit and say, hey, Mr. Mofo of my Miyaka, that's somebody, he has a call with me every Friday to give me feedback how things are going, where he thinks we should be going, right? I cannot have the arrogance to think I know. I don't know nothing. I am still learning. I'm in the school of life. When these guys speak to me, I have to listen. My friend and brother out in Houston, Kingsley Pungong, this is a guy who built a multi-million-dollar business from scratch with his hands scratching on a daily basis. When he talks, you got to listen because they know something out of life, out of experience, right? So nobody is ever young to be a mentor, and nobody is ever too old to be a mentor. Everyone can be a mentee, and everyone at every point in time will be a mentee and a mentor. You mentor down to people who are still growing to be where you are, right? And you mentee up while you are going to be where your mentor is. I don't know if that makes sense.
Very true, boss. And I like that, especially you talked about a few leaders who have passed. I really worry because when I started to read it, one of the things I was wishing to do was document them.
Yes.
The likes of the Nijon Fundi,
Yes.
the likes of your dad, the likes of the Fon Angwa Fon, the likes of Chief Mukete, the likes of Cardinal Tumi, the likes of Nyasako Ninko.
Yes.
These great people in our community.
Yes.
I one of the reasons why I actually I was blessed to meet at least Nyasako Ninko before he passed.
Yeah.
While I was preparing to get the materials and everything and go back to Cameroon and do the Nijon Fundi, I was late. That is one place, that is one thing I feel like our community is not doing enough. I feel like, especially because one, let me just put it this way, right? One thing I neglected was the fact that these people were not going to live forever. I came to America, got excited, and I was actually just enjoying myself. Okay, when time reach, I will go do them. And then before I want to turn my head, they know the. I think our community should start thinking differently. No matter how young they be, like you said.
Yes.
At one point in time, they can be a mentee and they can be a mentor. You can actually be a mentee and a mentor at the same time. You mentor those who are down while you're a mentee to those who are up.
Toridey.
Yeah.
You know what? Wow. I think you're getting me into places I don't want to go to today. Man. You know, they say until the lion can speak.
Yeah.
Right? The story of the hunt will always be told by the hunter.
Very true.
Okay?
Very true.
And amongst the many things which is critical, I think one of the most important things is the ability to tell our stories
Very true.
in an authentic fashion.
Very true.
And to keep our history. I say this because I have experienced the volume of loss that happens when we miss those windows of opportunity.
Yep. Yep.
And that is one of the reasons why you noticed that I became obsessed with content. Because I realized our culture did not respect documenting content in a way that could last generations.
Very true.
They documented content.
Yep.
Just like you said.
Yep.
Our grandfathers, they had stories they would tell.
Yep.
But these are verbal content. Which means when you get to 60, you might have Alzheimer's. You might have, you forget things.
Yep.
There's an experiment where they lined up 12 people back to back.
Yeah.
And they told the first person something which contained a sentence of 5 letters. By the time he got to the 12th person, it was 17 letters. It was something else, right? So they did a good job, but that is not enough, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a simple example, right? Somebody like my father, may his soul rest in peace, great guy, right? He documented some aspects of his life in an attempt to write an autobiography, which we are going to develop over time and publish, right? There are articles that have been documented about him, but there is not an A to Z documentary of his life. Now think about it for a second. This is an 87-year-old guy, served the nation of Cameroon for over 60 years in different positions of leadership, right? A lot of experience. This is one of the few Cameroonians who has traveled every subdivision and almost every village in Cameroon, bar none. This is one of the rare Cameroonians who could speak at least 25 different dialects in that country. Damn. From Bayangi to Hausa to Boro to Ewondo to Bet. Name it, he will speak it. He knew Cameroon like somebody knows his own self. Okay? This person decided early in his life that he wanted to be a community leader and a politician to change the destiny of his country. So he was focused on learning the things. And now he passed on. Right? And so I'm asking myself, Gustav, what if somebody wants to learn how to be as successful a politician as he was? As successful a community leader as he was. Where are they going to learn that from? Right?
My biggest cry.
So that is why I told you are taking me into places I didn't want to go to. Because this stuff is serious.
Yep.
This stuff is serious. And that is why I tell people we live in a very privileged time. We live in a time today when Toridey, the conversation we're having today, will stay on YouTube forever. I know that YouTube is going to be forever. That is why it's my preferred platform. It's going to be there forever, right? That is one way we can document. We should be writing our own autobiographies. It doesn't have to be anything super, no.
Or too professional.
Just have the ideas, write it. You understand? Find a way to document your life. Document your story. Document the story of your parents. Document the story of your children. It is very important. A few months ago, I have a very good friend of mine, Dr. Funkem Ekokobe. Solid. Whenever he comes to Dallas, I'll have him come on the platform. Quiet guy, very inspirational, young man out of Fontem. He went to the popular school out there in Fontem, went to BHS, came to the US, went to med school. He's a neuro-oncologist. He's today the director of neuro-oncology at the Wisconsin Medical School in Wisconsin, right? He's one of the surgeons who worked with John McCain when he had his brain cancer and all that stuff.
Wow.
Inspirational guy, but very unassuming. And his mother had a birthday in Wisconsin. I went down to Wisconsin to host the event for the family because we are very close family friends. And I went to his father, is a chief, and he's a lecturer in the university. So I went down to his dad's house, and I went down to the basement. And I noticed in the basement that the man had a catalog of the story and history of his people and his family. From when his children were babies, from when my friend was crawling, to when he just came, his first picture when he came to America and he had an Aboki line on his head and he was looking like this little boy walking and carrying dishes in the hotel there in Milwaukee. You understand? In Appleton, sorry. And all these different things. And I went up to his father. I said, Chimbe. He said, yes, my son. I said, I want to congratulate you. He said, why? I said, you document a lot. He said, my son, I'm intentional about it. He has documented, he's written stories about each of his children, their life. Those things, let me tell you, people don't realize, but any country in this world that is considered developed, they found a way to tell their story.
Of course.
Think about it. The Chinese, the Americans, the Russians, the Turkish, whoever they are, the Romans. Today we sit and we go to Rome and we go to Florence and there is that little canal where you enter a boat and they are rowing you and they say it's the canal of love. Why do we go there? That's a story they are telling us. I have that canal in Bamungo in Dop. I have that same canal in Maninguba. I have that same canal in Limbe. I have more beautiful ones, even on the foot of Mount Fako, who is telling our story. And we cannot sit back and complain that the world is we have to tell our stories. And when we are telling our stories, it doesn't mean we don't recognize that there are things in our stories too that might not be the most positive. But please highlight the positive of our stories. I have a good friend who we all went to school in CPC in Barolan. Barolan, we are on a forum, and he would always post videos of beautiful parts of Cameroon, nice things of Cameroon, right? And people always go, oh, no, Master, you're showing a lie. I say, no, guys, listen. I understand our country is struggling like most countries in the world, in the third world. We have our own challenges, but there are also some good things about our country. Let's highlight those good things. Do you know how many bad things there are we can highlight about this country?
Me, I usually just tell people, they say, sorry, I cut you short. I usually just tell people, say, the America officer with TV. Then the America women then the America what they see and don't care America. Now it's actually beautiful. It has its qualities, it has its strengths and all of that. But I don't reach for you to see the reality. There's a reason why they decided to show you what they show us on CNN and movies and all of that. And then when you come here, you meet the reality.
Of course.
So I feel like that's the same mindset we should have. Now, at the end of the day, when if you take them away, that is part of the negative things, the whatever. But
it helps to push improvement, no doubt about that.
Very true.
But it shouldn't become center stage. That's what true. I'm saying. At least when there are good things, let's also highlight them. Good things. It is very important. The reason why it's not only in relation to aspects of administration. No,
Yeah.
not any of that.
Yeah.
Even in relation to our own self as a people, right? I remember when I look at some videos I did a few months ago and what I'm doing now, I'm improving. And for you to tell me I've been improving,
Yeah.
I feel good. I didn't even notice that I was improving. Gilbert will call me and tell me, no, you're doing this right, do this better. That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's important. We have to talk about what needs to be improved. We also have to talk about
Enjoy
what
the
needs to be
things
done well, right? Because at the end of the day, what really makes the difference between the great and the good is that obsessive love for excellence. What does excellence mean? Excellence means complete denial not to cut corners.
Wow.
It means you're saying, you know what? It might not be the greatest, but it will be the best I can deliver at that time with what I have.
Wow.
Until I have more and I know more, I will deliver the next best.
Wow.
Are we together?
Definitely, boss.
Very important. Yes. So when you talk about capturing our story, capturing our history, it's capital, especially in the time when we live today. It's even been made much easier. Think about it for a second. 20 years ago, everybody in Cameroon, where we came from, even here in the US, everybody who had a camera, we knew them at parties.
Yeah.
I don't know if it made sense.
Very true.
Photographers, videographers, it was a big deal to have a camcorder,
Yeah.
right? But today we have...
only CRT if you get camcorder.
Exactly. We live in a time today when your cell phone is 24 megapixels.
Yeah.
In fact, the most recent Samsungs and iPhones are actually the launch of the latest iPhone product, which is the M15 chip in the latest iPhone product, right? That particular launch and the entire thing was shot by an iPhone 15.
Yeah.
And edited using the iPhone editing clip. So what I am saying is that we are living in a time today when we have privileges, maybe we don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Everybody today is a brand.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a banal, mediocre way, no.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we are living in a time today where everybody should find a way to capture and tell their stories.